Hey guys, it's Charlie subbing in for TheTopher out here in rainy San Diego, California, taking this first drive opportunity on the 2023 Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. We're going to take a look around the inside and out, start it up, and go for a little drive here in the rain, talking about what makes this a little bit more of a compelling option over the standard gasoline version of this car. This is a mid-grade trim. This is probably what you're going to see a lot of out on dealer lots. It's an SE model with about $2,000 worth of options. Those options include the JBL 9-speaker sound system, which we have a review to over on Daily Motor. Check the link in the description if you want to see that. We've got the moonroof package, which also adds a little cargo cover shade. And the third package is this two-tone paint, which we're going to step out in just a second, a little lull in the rain, and take a look at here. But you do also have an S model below this and an XSE above. This one coming in just a hair under $33,000 as spec'd. We're rocking the 2-liter naturally aspirated inline-4 motor with a hybrid powertrain, putting a total system output of 196 horsepower sent to all 4 wheels. All-wheel drive standard on the Corolla Cross Hybrid, and I know that's going to be a big thing for a lot of shoppers. Let's take this opportunity to do a little look around. Only 4 different color options with the Corolla Cross Hybrid. This blue, one of the more attractive ones in my opinion. Take it or leave it looks. This is a very appliance-y sort of car and very inoffensive styling in my eyes. They didn't want to offend anyone. They just wanted to make it work for as many people as possible. You can get an optional powered liftgate, but I think it's so much easier just to have that manual one. Decent cargo area for this class. You can put a lot of things in here, and at the end of the day, a lot of shoppers in this class are trying to optimize the amount of stuff they can do with the car. You see a little bit of a cargo cover, but no spare tire, just an inflation kit, and no underfloor storage either. So it's kind of weird how you've got these side areas. I know that you could use those for small storage of things, but I could also see stuff falling in there inadvertently and making it a bit difficult to work with. We have our JBL subwoofer right there, some tie-down hooks as well. Folding the rear seats isn't super easy to do because you do have to move the front seats forward, and they're manual, so you got to go in there, but it folds mostly flat. There's a little bit of a lip, but this little piece of fabric to smooth that over. One of the best things about the Corolla Cross is its added legroom and headroom. I'm 5'10", and sitting here, I've got about a side hand's width of headspace between my head and the ceiling, and I'm actually sitting at a pretty comfortable recline as well. I could be back here as an adult for a road trip and not feel claustrophobic. Now you can see there's not a ton of room for my knees, and if you had a rear-facing car seat back here, you'd have to keep that seat scooted forward a little bit, but I don't think that's the end of the world. Another thing I like back here is air vents. We were just in the Prius Prime, and that didn't have any air vents in the back, and it also didn't have any usable headroom. So I think this is a better car to be in if you're transferring more than 2 people regularly. No flip down armrest, and kind of a tough cloth. It's not super soft on you. It feels more like an older cloth you'd see in more of a 90s, early 2000s car. One last thing I will mention is these doors don't open super wide. So if you were getting a rear-facing car seat in here, you're gonna have to kind of wrangle it in. Definitely something to keep in mind. 17-inch wheels on this model, pretty standard fare. Corolla Cross kick plates and fun seat designs. I like the seating position in this car. It's very upright. It feels like you're sitting in a chair. Wireless device charging. I am curious to see if my phone's going to move around in there. It's a very slippery device charger, so we'll see how that works. Toyota's newer infotainment system displayed on an 8-inch screen. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto support. I've really been liking what Toyota's doing with their infotainments as of late. If you haven't used one of the new ones, I highly recommend it. Not a ton of places to put things other than that, though. A fairly small center console. I don't love how these cup holders don't have a way to secure a bottle. For example, I have this aluminum water bottle here, and it's just going to rattle around. So either you have something that can compress and fit perfectly, or you're going to get something that moves around. There's no teeth that come out and hug things. Same with the bottle holder there in the door. Another thing I really do like about this car, oh, there's a big truck coming in. Yeah, let's go. Another thing I do like is the light steering. Not a fantastic turning radius, as you can see, but the steering is so light, I could one finger it around a parking lot if I really needed to. I quite like that. And I like the width of the steering wheel as well. It's very easy to hold on to. I believe the Toyota Corolla Cross shouldn't have been a gasoline-only option ever. This hybrid powertrain is so much better for this car. And I understand that doing the gasoline motor is less expensive, but at what cost, I dare ask? When you know something like this is going to be so much better, why even bother with the gas option? Hear that CVT whirring away. Definitely a more intrusive powertrain noise than something like the Prius. But it works, it really does. I don't have to tax this powertrain to get up going. I mean, this is a 50-mile-per-hour road right up to speed. It's probably a third throttle at most. A very basic instrument cluster in there. It's strange to see a tachometer with a hybrid CVT these days, because it's constantly dropping down, turning off, and then coming back up and whirring up and then kind of holding there. It's doing a lot of things. Toyotas usually just hide their tachometer behind some sort of digital display, and I honestly don't blame them. It's weird to see in this car. It makes the rest of the vehicle look simpler and cheaper to have that big analog display there, but I guess it works. At least you can pull up a digital speed there using the multi-function display in the middle. Very standard fare Toyota blended braking with the regeneration and the friction brakes coming into effect. It's, I don't know if I want to use the phrase confident. Let's see here as I come to a stop. There's a lot of springiness at the top. I don't want to say spongy, it's springy. And then when you lean into the brakes, it's a very computerized feel of the brakes. It doesn't feel like you're pushing metal against metal. Toyota's 2-liter that we know, and I won't go as far as to say love, but we're very familiar with it at this point. No big surprises. Standard suite of adaptive cruise control in here. The Toyota Safety Suite, if you will. Toyota Safety Sense is what they call it. All the things you really want and need in a new car. You're going to get your automated emergency braking, your blind spot monitoring, your lane keeping assist, cross traffic alerts. That is one thing that Toyota does really, really well, is they care about safety, they care about keeping you and your family all in one piece and getting you there as safely as possible. So we are paying a bit of a price premium to get all of those excellent safety features built right in. I know it's going to sound a bit cliche, but what the Corolla Cross does really, really well is being an appliance. And at the end of the day, most people use cars to get from point A to point B as reliably, efficiently, and inoffensively as possible. They don't care about the driving experience. They just want a set of wheels that is going to do what they need it to do at the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, at the end of the day, be predictable, be useful. And this admittedly does a really, really good job at it. there are less expensive things out there. So if you're really trying to penny pinch, you might want to be looking at something smaller or just straight up cheaper. And Nissan or Chevy will sell you something quite a bit cheaper than this $33,000 car. I mean, gosh, for $10,000 less, you can get into a base Maverick. You're still going to have single zone climate control. You're going to have a whole truck bed to work with. You're going to get a hybrid powertrain that also gets decent fuel economy. You're not going to get as good of a sound system or as good as safety features, but just keep that in mind. This is a very good, more premium appliance, if you will. This is stepping up to the name brand microwave. You're not just getting the Best Buy or the Costco special. You're actually doing your research and you're getting a microwave that's gonna last for a long time. And that's what the Prius, or I don't even know what we're driving. That's what this Corolla Cross is gonna do for you. And again, the steering. Steering is what's doing it for me. The steering and honestly the seating position. I'm upright, I'm looking around. The greenhouse is quite good. There's a lot of visibility. These A pillars aren't super large. The D pillar, that's a little bit of a different story, but with the blind spot monitoring and everything, it mitigates that to a good degree. I understand why Toyota launched this as a hybrid. I think that's the only powertrain you should consider for the Corolla Cross. If you're going to get the gas motor, just get a normal Corolla. You're going to have a better time. Oh, I said the T word. Go away. I should also say another car that competes with this is Toyota's own Camry hybrid. The Camry hybrid it feels like a nicer place to be inside. And if you're going to be doing a lot of highway running, don't think that you're going to get EPA highway figures on this car. About 38 mpg is what the EPA expects with this SE trim. You're not going to see that cruising 75 miles per hour on the highway, but you do have a better chance of getting those numbers with either a 2.5 liter gas Camry or a Camry hybrid. And that might not have all the tech. It might not have quite as much trunks. Well, actually, I think it's going to have as much trunk space, but maybe if you're using the height a lot, it's not going to quite have that. But it's going to be a comfortable place, a more comfortable car to be in and put on big miles. So don't forget that you could probably go to a dealer and get yourself a Camry hybrid at MSRP or maybe even below if you're shrewd, and you're going to have a nice, super reliable premium experience, more so than this car. I like the 2.5 liter in the Camry better than I like this 2 liter. And that also brings up the point of they're not planning on making a whole bunch of these right away. Because of labor shortage and part shortage, they're only planning on making 14,000 of these for the 2023 model year, and then 34,000 for the 2024 model year. That's not a ton of Corolla Cross hybrids, and I would not recommend you go into a dealership and pay more than MSRP for this car. I just wouldn't. It's an appliance. You should be paying a minimum price for it. It's not a desirable car in the way that I think you should go out and try to pay a premium like you might for something like a RAV4 Prime, for example, that's giving you an elevated experience. Even something like these Priuses that we're seeing, yeah, I could see maybe paying $1,000 over MSRP to get yourself into a base Prius because it's cool. It really stands out. This car isn't cool. So the only reason you should be buying it over something like that Nero, for example, is because you're getting a good deal and it makes sense for you and maybe your family. Quick little driving opportunity in the base Corolla Cross hybrid, the S trim. Something you can immediately tell as soon as you get in from the gray cloth seats and the rubber steering wheel. It even has a sharp bit of molding on the back of it. Something that you would 100% expect to get out of a rental car and not out of something that you were going to the dealer and seeking out on your own. And I'm going to double check the spec sheet here, but I think this one's only about $3,000 less than the blue one we were driving. And that would only be a 10% difference. Let's see. Yeah, $29,700. The other one was like $32,800 or something like that. I would surely pay the extra $3,000 for the accoutrement of the one we were in, especially that it had the JBL sound system. This one, you're paying $425 for this white paint that we'll see in a sec. And that is it. That is the only option on this. So as you can see, very rubber steering wheel. I don't mind it, but I know some of you that care much about steering wheels certainly care. And then the gray. I'm just not a big fan of gray. I don't know if you can get black with the S trim, but Don't love gray interiors. Other than that, most of your features are about the same. You're not getting heated seats until you step all the way up to the XSE. So functionally speaking, this one actually isn't really that far down. Let's see it on the outside. We should have, I thought we were going to have slightly different wheels, but they look pretty similar to the SE wheels, don't they? No roof rails on this one either. No sunroof because that was a package on the XSE we were driving. Yeah, just in case you wanted to see what a little bit more of a basic one looks like. So the Corolla Cross Hybrid, a better appliance. If you do want to see more on the car, I know Chris has a review of the normal Corolla Cross somewhere on his channel. We'll throw links to all that good stuff out there. But thanks for watching, everybody.